Back with another big body video. Let's get right into it. Look at my camera, y'all. Shit. Can you hear me? You see, y'all? Got my face on it. It's like, dang, you feel me? Two cameras, you feel me? 360, you feel me? Oh, then I got the clip to it. You know, see the clip? Like that clip.
How did you get your mouth? Not put it down. One of my all-time favorite books. You cannot get a copy. Thank you so much for watching, and please remember, we're not just telling stories.
You feel me?
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Zoom in. Zoom out. Zoom in. Ooh, I really did. Ooh, and I got the other piece too. Got both pieces. Got the chip to it. Doing some real quick, y'all. So it's like two different cookies.
There's a reason you weren't satisfied with the ordinary. You were made for adventure. A life with God doesn't have to be boring. It can be a hard-pounding life.
Clip is out. Still work. As y'all can see, still
The
work.
adventure awaiting you is
Okay,
bigger
but now I'm about
and
to
more
put the
life-giving
clip
than you could ever
back
imagine. Join us every
in.
weekend for 45 minutes of challenge, hope, and encouragement to guide you
Clip out.
through spiritual
Clip out.
adventure.
Put the other clip in. You feel me? Oh, wait. Clip. See the roller. See the roller. Right back there. Right. What was up in there?
Am I supposed to do with my life? It's a big question, it's an important question. The Bible word for that is calling. Okay, so calling, that's a really good word, but it might be a little bit what we call churchy. So let's unpack that for people. What is calling?
And then I got a smaller chip.
Intimidating. Like, how in the world I know I'm calling? Well, today we're going to tell you how. See, it's the place where your gifts, your talents, and your opportunities intersect.
And then it's another chip inside of this. So it's a chip. You see this? This. Let me show y'all. Let me show y'all real quick.
It's this right here. It's helping lead and build Crossroads Church Online.
This there come out.
I found that place, and here's the thing. You can too. That's our goal today, is to help you
So,
find
yeah,
that intersection in your life.
that's pretty
So
cool.
in just a moment, our senior pastor, Brian Combs, is going to share with you how you find that answer for yourself. And we've even got a story about someone who made a huge impact to their city by saying yes to God and going on an incredible journey. Right here, absolutely. So thanks so much for being here. Let's get into it right now.
I'm Brian. We're here at a nonprofit called Mortar with the person who leads this, my friend Alan Woods, also known as Top Notch. Tell us about Mortar. What's the vision of Mortar?
Absolutely. So we wanted to create an accelerator that
What
made
you do?
entrepreneurship more accessible.
Oh, you cannot get tagged. It's gonna be a pink thing. Do not get tagged by the pink.
Accelerate their ideas, how to take their business concepts
Tagged
to the
by the
next
pink.
level, how to start, how to create a network, how to get funded, and ultimately how to carve out a space where they can assist in growing their community.
A pink. If somebody's pink, you might get tagged by them, even if they're your teammate.
Because those folks have
No,
the
you
hardest time getting something
your
started.
teammate.
Is that
Your
right?
teammate can tag
Absolutely.
you.
And when you look at the wealth gap and you look at net worth of the black community versus the white community, there is a huge difference between that. And we're talking over $100,000 difference of the average net worth. And so what we're doing is we're trying to combat that but giving people an opportunity to
Thank you.
pursue
Never mind.
entrepreneurship as a means of building that legacy for their families, whether that be financial or otherwise. Ultimately, that's one of my purposes in life, is to kind of help people get
You
better
hold press
and become their
R2.
best selves. So I get to do that.
But do not do your teammates. Only do the yellow team.
External compulsion you have. You have a voice from heaven saying, Alan, help people put money on their table and support their family. Did you ever have any of those kind of things?
Early on, there were a ton of different things that God kept lining up. You know, our first office even, you know, we had an article that, you know, appeared in one of the local papers, and a guy reached out to us and said, hey, you know, in your article you said that you were looking for a place to have classes and to have an office space, and I would love for you to use my office. He's like, you guys can feel free to use it at no charge. And my business partner, Derek, was like, well, why are you doing this? And the guy, his name was Scott, he said, you know, do you guys believe in God? And I said, yes. He said, well, I feel like God is telling me to do this for you. And I said, well, I think you should listen to him. So
I think you should give it to me.
You should absolutely listen to God. And so we've just had all of these different doors that have opened up for us throughout this time. Where there's things that we cannot deny that this is the presence of God, this is ordained. These are things that he's carving out for us. There's no way that we started this thing almost 7 years ago thinking it was going to be a program in one neighborhood, and then now to be in 6 neighborhoods in Cincinnati and then 6 additional cities. It's just not something that we could have ordained. We didn't even think that that was possible.
There wasn't some parting of the clouds. You just looked at who God made you be, and the things you wanted to do, and the opportunities are before you, like that thing. And it sounds to me like you just walked into those things, which was your calling. Is that fair?
Absolutely. And I think that he always will connect us to people. So, like, when we talk about having a network, you know, having a network with God, I mean, like, how much bigger can your network be? So I think that God intentionally has put people in our pathway who have been designed to help us. Ultimately, when we think about what Mortar is, the whole name is about building something up that's bigger than us, and the mortar is the thing that holds everything together. And so we understand that we are a small part of this, but, you know, the people that we interact with, the people who go through our program, they are the mortar of their cities. They are the people who hold everything together. So you can have these brilliant ideas, but if you don't have real people who are connected to them, you don't have people who are going to hold it together and make it make sense.
So someone has a feeling about what their calling may be, but they don't know how to start or what the first step is. What counsel do you have for them?
Start.
Start. Just start. Take the step, whatever it is.
Figure out the thing that you feel driven to do every day. Typically, our purpose is also connected to our passions. So if it's something that you feel drawn to do, just start it. You're never going to, if you wait until everything is perfect, you're never going to get started. So start where you are with what you have and do what you can.
Easiest car to steer is one that's moving.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think it gives us a lot to chew on, and the idea of the stories that come out of your story and out of the teaching this weekend, I'm really jazzed to see how they have a ripple effect over our whole culture. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Trevor.
Some of us go to work. Some of us work a calling. It can't be the same thing, but we've got to understand this to understand what our life is about. The very beginning of the Bible, back in the book of Genesis, God creates man and woman and puts them in the garden. Before anything goes wrong, they're actually working. They're taking care of the ground. They're taking care of creation. They're replicating. Amazing things are happening. And you have to believe, and I have to believe, that the work that you're about is important. All work is work that God is a fan of, and you have to choose your attitude in the work that you're doing. There's a story told about President JFK, who obviously cast that amazing vision that he wanted to see under his watch. America sent the first man to the moon. And he toured the NASA facilities one time, and he bumped into a janitor who was pushing a broom. And he asked him what he was doing. He said, I'm putting a man on the moon. That's what he said. People who have a negative attitude might say, well, I'm just sweeping the floor. But this guy said, no, I understand what I'm doing is putting somebody onto the moon. He saw himself as a calling. He wasn't just going to work. He's had a calling. You may be a physical therapist. That may be your work. Or are you called to help people walk again? You may be a waiter or a hostess or a bartender. You might do those things as part of your job, but you might be the person who's giving people a good time when they're out and they need refreshment. I had an old friend who sang cover tunes in bars. He said, man, that's just my calling. That's what I do. I go out and I give people a good time to help them unwind from the difficulty of life and get them re-geared up to do it again. Some of us, as a result today, we're going to find it's time to get a new job, a new calling. Others of us are going to find we just need to get a new attitude about the job that we're in right now. It's actually a calling. We're going to look today at the two ways calling operates, either as an external compulsion, where God says something to me from outside of me, maybe the clouds are parted, or I see something, written in the sand, or somebody gives me a prophetic word, or I just hear whatever it is, external compulsion. And the other thing is an internal conclusion, where I just do an internal process and I come to some conclusions. I don't have to